Yo, what's going on, Freedom Ninjas? It's Jeff King, and this is The Thing with King. So today we're going to continue our talk about inequality, but instead of focusing on the economics of inequality and what creates inequality, we're going to focus on the personal habits between the rich and the poor, and this is the second part. So at first, though, I would like for you to hit that subscribe button. So now the economics are clear when it comes to income inequality. Trying to smooth out incomes will make our lives worse off. But we need to ask ourselves, what about the personal habits of those who create wealth and those that rely on government gun violence and theft for their livelihood, otherwise known as taxation? Now, I think it's worth examining the macro societal characteristics of those earning higher incomes than those who live in poverty. Firstly, if you're watching this, I'll safely assume you live in the United States and that you earn the average per capita income of $31,000 per year. Now, from that assumption, I'd like to congratulate you for being in the top 1% of worldwide earners. Now, if you still believe wealth inequality is bad for humanity, then stop being a hypocrite and start sending the majority of your money to Liberia, where the average income is $900 per year. You do make 34 times what they make, so surely you see your privilege and do away with that, right? Now, a key factor which plays a heavy role in one's earning potential is one's dedication to education and self-improvement. In 2017, those with a bachelor's degree experienced an unemployment rate of 2.5%, while high school dropouts had an unemployment rate of 6.5%. That's a 2.5 times difference. A person with a master's degree earns $1,400 per week on average, while someone with a high school diploma earns $700 per week on average. On average, your education level is directly tied to your income. In America, anyone can graduate high school and go to college, especially the poor. Government programs are there to help pay for some, if not all, expenses having to do with higher education, especially if you're poor. Now, what holds many back from attaining higher education in America is their individual character. Earning a bachelor's or master's degree isn't easy, but it's that perseverance and commitment you need to finish a degree that employers are looking for, and it's the grit you need in life to earn a decent income. It's hard to understate just how impactful education can be on your income. So, for example, of those in the lowest income bracket, 23% didn't graduate high school, 36% have a high school diploma as their highest educational level, and only 14% have finished their bachelor's degree. Now, in the top bracket of earners, only 1.8% didn't graduate high school, only 8.8% have a high school diploma as their highest educational achievement, and a full 74% have finished their bachelor's degree or higher. In the lowest income bracket, 14% have a bachelor's degree, and the highest income bracket, 74% do. There's a direct correlation there. A persistent work ethic are traits of high income earners, and they are also the traits of those who finish higher education. Now, corollaries to financial success don't end with education. Having two wage earners makes a substantial difference in a household's financial stability. The highest earning households have on average 2 working members per house, while the lowest earning households have on average 0.6 working adults. Similarly, married households lead to financial sustainability. 76% of households in the highest income bracket are married households, while only 16.5% are married in the lowest income bracket. Having 2 wage earners per household will help ensure you aren't poor and that your children aren't being raised in impoverished conditions. Having a child is a significant constraint on your ability to dedicate time to work or attain higher education. Attempting to raise a child without the other parent will probably negatively affect your income and the child's well-being. And there are numbers that prove this. The poverty rate for single mothers in 2016 was 35.6%, as opposed to only 6.6% for married couples. Unfortunately for America's children, the trend towards single-parent households has been steadily rising since the 1960s. In 1964, 7% of children were born out of wedlock. Today, a full 39.8% of children are born out of wedlock. There is an abundance of statistics I can find to highlight the macro habits which differentiate the rich from the poor. For example, between 1979 and 2002, the number of hours worked increased by 14% among the top earners, but the number of hours worked fell by 6.7% among lowest earners. The truth is, those who earn more work more, and those who earn less work less and have more free time. Individuals with high school diplomas have on average 40 leisure hours per week, whereas those with bachelor's degree have 32 leisure hours per week. Those who earn more put in more hours at the office instead of the television. Now, setting aside the customary actions of the rich versus the poor, I think what concerns those who don't engage in political pandering and have no desire to operate the gun of the state to try to solve this income inequality non-issue is the rate at which individuals can move beyond their parents' income and into higher income brackets, known as income mobility. Now, according to a study commissioned by the Minneapolis Federal Reserve, 44% of those born in the lowest income bracket move on to higher income brackets. Of those born in the second lowest income bracket, 36% move on to higher income brackets. And of those born in the middle income bracket, 32% move on to higher income brackets. The figures are more impressive when looking at it from a dollar basis. So of those born in the lowest income brackets, 75% go on to make $10,000 or more, and 57% go on to make $25,000 or more than their parents. Now, while the American regressive income tax punishes success by taking more from an individual as they earn more, professional certification laws, zoning laws, and never-ending sea of regulations result in politically mandated financial barriers that create roadblocks to moving up in the income ladder. Now, even with all of these political roadblocks to success, America still provides those willing to work hard the opportunity to surpass the economic conditions of their parents. A full half of those born into poverty have the willpower to work their way out of poverty. Now, should we make excuses and steal resources from the productive to help the other half that refuses to help themselves? America doesn't have an income inequality problem. We have a portion of society that lacks the character to rise above their situation and better their lives for themselves and their future generations. Many have a victim mentality and don't have the rational self-determination to get off the couch and go do something average with their lives. Unfortunately, many people have short-term time preferences and would rather receive the instant pleasure of playing video games or watching TV than the short-term pain and long-term rewards of going to college. The fake news media continually feeds the victim narrative so that those who find themselves in the lower income quintile perceive themselves as victims of the scheming billionaires' desire to keep them down and poor. Now let me ask you this. Do you honestly think the 80% of self-made millionaires or the 62% of self-made billionaires made excuses for themselves growing up? The power to move up in the income ladder starts with the proper mindset. And here, I think, are the substantial differences between the rich and the poor. I read about this guy, Thomas Corley, who spent 5 years studying 233 wealthy individuals and 128 poor individuals. He found that wealthy people are by and large optimists. They practice gratitude and look at happiness like a habit. When asked if they focus on their goals every day, 62% of the rich do, whereas only 6% of the poor focus on daily goals. 52% of the rich said that daily habits are critical to their success, whereas only 3% of the poor believe that daily habits correlate with success. 81% of the rich have a daily to-do list. Only 19% of the poor practice the to-do list. 88% of the rich believe saving for future investments is critical to success, whereas only 52% of the poor believe the same. Now, these are stark differences in the mentality of the rich versus the poor. And guess what, folks? It's free to adopt the rich mentality. You just have to do it. The billionaires and their yachts can't stop you from thinking and acting like them. Only you can. Another difference is in health. Health is critical to your ability to show up and be successful. Now, 85% of wealthy individuals agree that health is a necessary condition to success, whereas only 13% of the poor believe so. The rich practice habits which are not taught in government schools, habits which lay the foundation for financial accomplishments, and which the victim-encouraging media pretend to have nothing to do with success. Tony Robbins, the famous self-help instructor, preaches the idea of modeling. Modeling is where one copies the actions and career paths of someone who is successful in the chosen professional field of your interest. So by modeling a successful person's journey, you can become successful just like the person you modeled. So if you know what you want to do in life, go find someone who has done it and replicate their journey to success, and if you do it right, you will be successful too. The idea that it's hard to make a living wage in America is almost a laughable premise. The blueprint to make ends meet is simple. 1. Graduate high school. 2. Go on to secondary education. Don't have a child with someone unwilling to share the child-rearing responsibilities with you. Make use of your time wisely. Don't waste your life watching TV. Write down your goals and work every day to achieve them. Model the successful, and have a partner in life that shares financial goals with you. The blueprint to escape income inequality or poverty is there for everyone to use. Now get off your butt and go do it. And that's the thing with King.